The 2-minute drill challenge. So this is the piece from the M17, or sorry, from the the Valken remote car stock. The hole in this is 9/64 at the factory spec. Well, that's what size drill bit fits through it, anyways. It's pretty small. So the challenge was, can I drill it in under 2 minutes? Now I'm only going up to 5/16 at this point because that's sort of this inside ring. I do believe I can go larger, but that's where I'm starting. Obviously wrap that guy with lots of tape so I can grab onto it and not damage it. I've removed all the O-rings off of it. I have this nifty pair of non-marring pliers that I'm going to attempt to hold. Now I do have a drill press. Jeff said no drill presses. This is the kind of thing you could at least get like a tabletop vise would make your life a whole lot easier than trying to use channel locks. And obviously it frees up a hand. So let's go. Put that speed up a little bit there. Hopefully this thing doesn't bite and rip it out of my hand. Oh, gotta go the right way. Obviously, good drill bits help. So Jeff, if it's taking you longer, get some new drill bits. I should really clean all those shavings out, but I only got 2 minutes. Oh, it's hard to hold that with your hands. I would say I'm about more than halfway. See, we're almost there. I might actually just have to pull it down on here and drill because that is getting rough on the old mitts here. So hopefully you guys can still see this. As you get deeper, you want to clean those shavings more because they can bind up your drill bit. Ah, my oil is starting to slip my pliers here. Those, which way am I going here? These non-marring pliers only work good enough until the oil started to seep into the tape, and then it make it difficult to hold on to. Right at the end. Oh, my tape is slipping. This is why vices are better. Oh, you can see it. It's right there. So close. I think it's been longer than 2 minutes, but we'll call it a 3-minute drill. Oh, the tape's melting. Oh, well, I'm not going to be able to show you the end of this because that tape is melting on there and I'm going to have to get it off, but I don't know, that's pretty much through. Next up, we'll test this guy. All right, so what did you miss? Not much. So obviously when you get to the end of drilling something, you're breaking through the other side, the drill bit tends to bind because it likes to grab the edges. So and the tape that I had on here was getting really hot and started to melt. So I had to get it off before it became too much of a mess. But essentially, yeah, I put it in my vise for 2 seconds just to spin it through the end. Now, I would never recommend hand drilling anything. You make do with what you have. But if you were gonna do this maybe on a regular basis, I mean, at least that a tabletop vise will save you loads of time. Yeah, so there it is complete. That's a 5/16 hole up from a 9/64. That should be sufficient to dump air. Generally, anything bigger than 1/8 of an inch tends to dump rather than slowly bleed out. And so I'll reassemble it. We will see where it lands. Now, yeah, whatever. Let's do that first. You can see the narrowest part right here where the set screws lock in. I mean, that's your limiting factor to how big you could drill this. Probably pretty close at that point. We'll find out. All right, well, easy enough. Put the O-rings back on. I have thoroughly cleaned this with soap and water to get the oils and the shavings off. And it should just be as simple as plugging it back in. Come on. Like that, so put some oil on here. Let me grab my HDR because I do want to line the buttstock up properly again, so I'll just thread this piece in, bottom it out, put my buttstock back on, like that. Remember, I gotta make sure those little set screws are in the slot, which they are there. Lock one down, then I should just be able to do the rest, no problem. Let's air this up, see what it does. She is all back together, and two things you didn't see is the haircut that happened in between, the change of clothes, because obviously I had to go to work again. So much for my long weekend. Actually, three things you didn't see. The third thing you didn't see was, well, previously with the bottle screwed in like this and this buttstock, my HDR farted. It stuttered. Actually, it didn't do either of those things. What was happening was the bowl was just sticking forward on the first shot. It wasn't even fluttering, and it was just dumping all the air. Caitlin Daniel Rat, if I'm saying that right, he runs a YouTube channel, Training for Engagement. I'll put the link down in the video description. He mentioned my problem was this this chamber wasn't dumping the air, so hence why I drilled it. I reinstalled it in the marker with my heaviest bolt spring, and the bolt's still jammed forward. What gives? So I opened it up again. I put back in the factory spring just because bolt jammed forward. I opened it up one more time. I just had a part laying around that I have experimented with before, and I just thought, why not? And that part is, this is your bolt guide, bolt stop that is inside your HDR. So your bolt spring, I don't have anything around here. Well, I got a giant bolt spring that we can picture it. Well, they're stuck together, but in any case, bolt guide, your bolt spring fits kind of inside here, and your bolt compresses up against this. It stops and the spring returns it. I have one of these that I actually ground down this. So you see this larger top hat section here? I ground this all the way down to just this narrower section, which allows the bolt to travel further. I got a funny feeling that stop was actually preventing a full compression of that spring. So instead of that bolt hitting and rebounding, it was getting more of a dead stop. It's not really the right explanation, but it was absorbing some of the energy of that spring as opposed to getting a full compression and then firing the bolt back. So I installed the short version of this. And what do you know? The freaking thing fires now. No stutter, no stuck bolt, no nothing. On the same factory spring that I was having problems with originally. What does this mean? I have to test it with CO2 because now I'm wondering, will this fire unrestricted with CO2? But that's not what this video is for. 5/16 zero buttstock, Valken remote buttstock, 1100 PSI. I made some adjustments to my barrel, so I am back shooting 12.7 millimeter ball bearings, 8.4 grams. I always got my best results on these. For whatever reason, in my earlier video, setting this guy up, I was having all sorts of problems with the extension. But now I have the shorter sniper extension on here, and no problems, no sparks. So let's see what it does. Wire it up. So we'll air it up. And see what it does. And then I'm going to take the buttstock off, insert the bottle directly into the HDB Home Defense 24 adapter, and we'll see, did the buttstock make a difference? $386. Whoa, there we go. $450. Now she woke up a little bit. $450. Yowza. $394. $356. What are we at? Oh, holy smokes. She slurped that air down. So I forgot to mention, this was pumped to 3,000. So how many shots was that? That was only 5 shots. And I drained 2,000. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong gauge. And that gauge is broken, by the way. Oh no, that's the right gauge. No, that's the wrong gauge. What are we doing here? There we go. Yeah, we are under 1,000. And our output says under 1,000. My glasses are fogging up. Yeah, well, uses a whole crap load more air. I did get a couple of zingers off there. But I'm gonna take this tank and buttstock off and put it right in the back. We'll try again. 450 being my tops. It looks like I would need a much larger tank to maintain that, that kind of power with this buttstock on here. Bottle straight in the back with the HDB Home Defense 24 rear air adapter. Air it up. Same steel ball bearings. 450 feet per second was the highest with the buttstock installed. I firmly believe that would maintain that number with much larger air canister. But it's a thirsty bugger. 5 shots and I was already under 1,000 PSI. So let's see what this guy does. 440. 414. 434. 370. What do we got left? We got 2 left. Let's check what we're at after 5. 432. And we are at, we got 1500 PSI left. Aha! One more. 428. Well, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I mean, it did have the highest number. It was totally inconsistent. If you averaged what this setup did against this setup did better. Now, this air chamber is humongous. You saw it, how thirsty it was, and after 6 shots, I still have more air than I had after 5 shots with the buttstock installed. It's a cool setup, and there might be a place for this. The firing pin that's in the Umarex, even in most 50 caliber air pistols, is pretty small. My salt supply, for instance, I have installed an FSC firing pin in it. I can because the air chamber is large enough. In the Umarex, there isn't any room really to go much larger with a pin, unless you custom made something. And whether it'd be all worth it in the end just to run that buttstock, I don't know. There's a happy medium somewhere. I'm not saying it's not good, but I mean, this was way more efficient and more powerful. See ya.